You know, Bill, you spend a lot of time on the water, and I imagine you make a lot of casts in a day. Well, good Lord, just think how many times you might flip that thing in a year. Just how accurate can you be with that rod of yours?
How accurate? Fair, I guess.
Well, why don't we give you a little test? Let's see how accurate you are. Why don't you, I'll bet you can't put that lure next to that little stick sticking up out of the water there.
Well, you just watch. In fact, that's so easy, I'll do it underhanded. How close do you want it?
Well, as close as you think you can get it.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it to the right side of that bush, underhanded, just where that little green stuff is. Hey. Well, that just cost you $6. How'd you do that?
I'll bet you that $6 I can do it again.
Okay, Mr. Big Shot, I'll take that bet. Let me get this thing tied on, all right?
All right, then, let her fly.
All right, I'm going right back to that same bush.
These Dixieland fishermen will never be able to trust a Minnesota Yankee.
Dadgum! How do you do that?
Well, Bill, you want to go for 3?
Nope, not with my lures. Use your own.
All right, how about 2 eggs?
Fried or scrambled?
How about both?
Baloney.
No, eggs, Minnesota style.
Minnesota style.
I tell you, these Dixieland fishermen just will never learn, will they?
That's the neatest thing I've ever seen with a .22 rifle. How do you do that?
Just like you're casting, Bill. Practice, practice, practice.
Well, let me tell you, if you can catch fish half as good as you can shoot that rifle, we're in for a tremendous day.
Well, there's one big difference, Bill. I can see what I'm shooting at.
I sure as a heck won't argue with that. Hey, let me ask you something. What is the smallest thing that you've ever shot at? Let's say with a .22.
Well, once in a while I get a headache, and sometimes I like to have an aspirin or two. And sometimes during my show, I will shoot some aspirins out of midair with a .22 rifle.
Baloney.
No, aspirins.
Have you got any aspirin on you?
Yeah, I got some aspirins right here in my pocket here.
Well, you got your gun. I want to see this.
Yeah.
Breaking aspirin with a .22? I got to see this.
You just don't believe me after all the shooting I've done already? Well, I'll give it my best shot.
I bet you will. It's unbelievable. Good gosh. Good gosh. God. Hey, I can barely see 2 aspirin in my hand, much less 20 feet now. Just how good is your eyesight?
Well, I guess good enough to see an aspirin at 20 feet.
I tell you what, that's mind-boggling. In fact, that gives me a headache.
Well,
Give me 2 of those aspirins.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable. That's fantastic.